John Olivier here from Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding and Serious and Silliness Outcast. And I have a great new website to show you. If you are interested in peptides such as semaglutide, which everybody knows is Ozempic, then you need to go to this website, www.eqno.com. That's eqno.com, because these are peptides at a discount price. And you'll get an additional 10% discount if you use my discount code, John, John. Why don't we just take a look at the site so you could see for yourself? Let's see. Here it is. This is the site, EQNO Scientific, where you can get semaglutide, you can get tirzepatide, and you can get retatrutide. They are now on sale for $129 per 10 milligram vial. But if you use my discount code, John, John, you can get each bottle for $116. And to be honest, I don't know where you're going to find it cheaper than that. I've looked around. I don't see any of these peptides that inexpensive. This is a great new site, and he was going to have even more peptides coming in the future. As of right now, these are the three available at a discounted price. Remember, www.eqno.com, and remember to use my discount code JOHN for an additional 10% off. All right, guys, thank you and enjoy the video. All right, Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding has a returned guest, Patryk from Ari's Nutrition. What's up, Pat? How you doing, man?
What's up, John? Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Of course. Now, the last time we spoke, you had 3 stores, and we just spoke offline, and now you have 5 stores.
Yes, I have 5 stores and 2 good online presences for online business too. So that's like my pathways or branches of income.
Now, where are the
That's how
5
I
stores
count.
located? Are they all in Jersey?
There's 4 in Jersey, 1 in Philadelphia. Edison, Mount Laurel, Sewell, Hamilton, the headquarters, and then 1 in Northeast Philly.
Wow, very nice, man. Very nice. Now, I have a business question for you. You're in a business that you have been able to make thrive, where the majority of people that have supplement stores or an online presence can't make it because people can get their supplements now on Amazon, on any other retail website, so on and so forth. You walk into a GNC, you walk into a vitamin shop, there's nobody in there, right? How did you make it thrive? It's like you literally beat the odds because all those stores are going out of business. None of them make money, and you're basically successful. How did you do it?
The original goal was never stores. The original goal was the Aries brand with multiple branches. So what does that mean? Well, 5 locations or 5 branches from the tree, which is called Aries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those branches are individual forms of income. Okay. I knew that the most infinite version of income in a branch is online. So there's an online store, there's a TikTok store. So that's 2 more branches, right? Then, it's like, okay, how do I get more branches going? So there will be a supplement brand coming by the end of the year. My goal is to start looking for a warehouse and gym location by the end of the year. So these are all branches. So realistically, it's not that the stores are making,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the brand, right? I don't count the stores for nothing, because realistically, if I was just dependent on stores, I might as well just close it down and give up, because
Right.
stores are a dying breed, especially in the Northeast or oversaturated areas where the population is so dense, where you drive 10 minutes and you're falling into supplements. Like, realistically, just it is what it is. And then brands in general have become extremely more aggressive on direct to consumer online. GNC and Vitamin Shop are becoming a lot more creative, where they're looking at brands that are just direct to consumer to bring them on. They're looking at big name brands to bring them on and do collabs and unique things to drive traffic into their stores. So what I'm seeing is just a snowball effect of brands and corporations destroying small business locations.
Mm.
Now, they're not doing it on purpose. A brand has to do what's best for them, right, to make money. So at the end of the day, what's more important? Do you deal with thousands and thousands of small businesses that are this, that, blah, blah, blah? Or do you go to a centralized spot like GNC or Vitamin Shop who have thousands and thousands of locations and just sell directly to their distribution center? And then they do the whole thing, instant POs, they're giving you the marketing, so forth. So they're going where the money is, right, up front. At the same time, they're going over the top with direct to consumer. So now you have, because GNCs and vitamin shops were just known as corporations. Well, Vitamin Shop hired a lot new minds, right, in marketing. Vitamin Shop has become extremely intelligent and creative, where they are grabbing brands which are, for example, TikTok only exclusive or online exclusive, and bringing them in. And then they're forming collaborations. I mean, Raw isn't all both, but Raw gives, for example, them exclusive collaborations or first launches, so people go to them first. So what we're seeing is, I mean, corporations are doing what's best for them, brands are doing what's best for them, which is just a team effort without purposely just wiping out small businesses. like like that's just the way it is, right? Because if you look from my end, it's like, okay, how do I even compete with that?
Right.
It's like, it's not like I'm going to have brands that the corporations are going to have anymore. It's not like I can keep up with the deals that the corporations are doing, right?
Right.
It's not like I get exclusives to drive people to me when they could just go there, right? So, and look, I knew this was going to happen anyway. Like when I opened my first store, the goal was never anything. It was just branches. But it's really online, right?
Right.
But how do you make online relevant? Well, that's how a brand needs to be relevant. So marketing, social media, the value is the brand, just like you have influencers, let's say Sam, Trend Twins, all these people are brands.
Right.
They've created themselves. They
Right.
drop product. The people just flock to them. That's the future. That
Yes.
we're literally watching the future. I know, for example, Trend Twins just dropped their supplement line. I
Yeah.
know exactly what they just did in one or 2 days, like what they did. It's unfeasible numbers.
Really.
And the products weren't even discounted. They were actually higher priced than we normally see in proteins and so forth. And they
Wow.
did incredible numbers. So
It's
like
amazing.
we're going in a whole new field. So look, now don't get me wrong. If I was in central Pennsylvania, if I was in Kentucky, Tennessee, like that's a different story, man. You could drop stores, man. You could literally, those people I recommend to those drop stores and drop them quick and as many as you possibly can and fucking fast.
Right.
Dominate and lock that territory down ASAP before that population expands or
Okay.
before corporations move in, right? But when we go out of that, and we start going northeast, Cali, Florida, like forget it, man. Like
Right.
figure out other ways to be more creative, because I say this all the time, man. If I took my stores and dropped them in the middle of rural areas, man, I'd have fucking 30 stores in an instant. Now it's like
I see.
there's not even a point for me to open any more stores. It's just, it makes no sense.
Right. 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 I didn't even think
That's
that. I didn't even think that location mattered anymore, because you can get it online so directly right to your home now. But you're saying that location, no, it does mean a lot.
but location as in the population, and you're talking about, rural areas versus not rural areas. You
Ah,
gotta remember, northeast, you go 10 minutes, you're hitting a GNC vitamin shop or another small business or a
right.
gym that sells supplements. You're in Ohio or Oklahoma, let's say Oklahoma or Tennessee. No, man, you got to drive like 40 minutes before you hit a place that can give you supplements.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
there, it's easy to drop, because within that driving distance, you're able to take advantage of the zip code. You are the central person in that
Okay.
zip code.
That makes
You see what I'm
sense.
saying?
Okay. Yes.
Meanwhile, here, I may be in a zip code, but there's 10 other opportunities for an individual to go within that zip code to get supplements. You
Ah,
see what I mean? And
yes.
then I may only attract one demographic, but there's multiples, right? And then say
Mhm.
if I attract a small percentage of a demographic, and there's another uh, opportunity for a consumer to purchase products that I sell, right,
Mhm.
within that same demographic, that just takes my small percentage and cuts that shit in half now.
Right, right,
And then it
right,
gets
right, right.
smaller and smaller and smaller, the more options the consumer has. And then you have direct to consumer, which is online and stuff like that. So because in the rural areas, people are really worried about online. Like
Mhm.
that's not their world.
Right.
Here, online convenience, those things, it's a different story, man. So yeah, that's how I look at it. So realistically, it's like, the perception of success may be relevant in people's eyes, but to me, it's like my hunger never ends. So to me, I'm always unsuccessful and always hungry every day. It's funny. I said this before. Every day when I finish my day, I'm like driving. I'm like, fuck, man, did I do enough today?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I didn't do enough. Like, what else could I have done?
Hmm.
Like, my mind is constantly spinning on ways. Like, I'm not even concentrating or even thinking about what to do inside the stores. The stores are there.
Right.
I'm thinking about what can I present on social media? What can I drop new on social media? What can I do here? How can I do marketing? Where I gotta film? Where I gotta go? Like I'm literally just somewhere else always. And every time I'm just like, damn, did I do enough today? Like literally today I'm driving. I'm like, shit, man, I didn't do enough. I got to get this done. So I didn't get this. What else can I have done? So
Well,
it's a problem.
you have great social media presence. I do follow you on TikTok, and you have great reviews, and I do check them out pretty much every day, right? So you have great social media presence. I want to get into something else, and then I want to go back to the stores and the supplements and so on and so forth.
Mhm.
You have um you have a great relationship with Hostel, and you have been able to get that whole crew to your
Mhm.
store several times, and it's been a huge success. Before we get into Fuad and Sam and so on and so forth,
Mhm.
how did you
Mhm.
establish that relationship?
The same way I establish every single one. I respect, I stay humble and I respect individuals that give me time.
Hmm.
Okay. Those individuals that give me time are in a world of bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding as much as they do. And they
Hmm.
know it. So they feel it. Okay. And I never ask for anything. I always say, what can I give you? What can I do for you?
Uh,
So, so those relationships always ended up being the same way because each individual always had good rapport to say about me, right? So, for example, Fuad, well, that was Dominic Cordone who reached out to Fuad. I wanted a brand. Well, I picked out the brand. We talked. He saw me supporting it. He saw me how much I love bodybuilding. Next thing you know, we joke around, we talk, and our friendship flourishes. And it's
mm,
literally the same way with everybody. With everybody. I mean, I have a very strong relationship with Fuad. I really see him as a very good friend.
mm,
The guy he's a great guy, contrary to what other people say. Um, the guy is just like straight, just be loyal to me and be a good person.
mm,
I'll be the same way. Like it's pretty kind of self-explanatory. So and the guy literally won't sell it to anybody in Jersey other than me.
that well, yeah, that's
Like
loyalty. Then
he
and they do say he does get a lot of, and I've covered it. I've covered uh his online beef with Nick Trigili, and I've covered he had a friend that came out and he was actually on my show and talked about Fuad and so on and so forth. Um, but he's for some reason he's still able to kind of keep his head above water and how can I say this? Be successful even with all these people that bring this negativity and so on and so forth, right? Now I'm gonna
he
sound like a little bit of a hypocrite because I do cover it. I never said anything bad about the man, but I did cover his problem with Nick, and I did cover his problem
Mhm.
with his friend Mish. But
Mhm.
truth be told, he was one of the guys that inspired me to start my own podcast because I was a huge fan and still am a huge fan of his podcast, right? But now, do you see a difference when Sam Sulik was with him as opposed to not being with him as far as selling products or when you have Sam at the store or without him at the store with people coming?
So I'm gonna give huge props because I was actually shocked. about how well Fuad treated Sam. And this is, listen, we were together for 2 days. I was around them at Mattiorno, and I was with them at the Detroit Pro event, post event, all that stuff. Okay. Fuad flat out, Sam, are you good? Thank you so much for coming. Sam, I appreciate you for doing this for me. Sam, thank you. Is there anything else I could do for you, Sam?
Mm.
Fuad treated the kid. I was just shocked, right? Of how much respect he gave Sam and how much he appreciated his value, right? Where everything that Sam did for him was him going, "Hey Sam, would you want to do this?" Like for my event, it was him going, "Sam, look, Pat's a good friend. He wants to host an event. Would you want to do for him? Let me know what the cost is. He wants to pay it, whatever it is. How do you feel?" It wasn't like, "Let's go do this." It was,
It
"Hey
wasn't
man,
demanding,
would
right?
you like to do this?" No, like that's why. Like, I listen. Here's what I think. Here's what I think is going on. I think, um, I think no, no. So before Sam went to hostel, because I had this conversation so much. Sam was big within kids who never even went to the gym and don't even know anything about gym or bodybuilding.
Mm.
He wasn't known by any bodybuilders whatsoever, right? So when he came to hostel traffic is just hardcore bodybuilders. So they're like, "Who the fuck is this?" Right? Just me. I was like, "Who's Sam? Like, who is this?" All my
Yeah,
athletes, all that. Next, thing you know, we watch the stuff. I'm like, "Yo, this kid's pretty cool." He explodes. Like, and I'm talking explodes. Do I
he
think he
does.
would have reached this trajectory without hostel? I think it would not. Now I'm going to say this bold statement. I'm sure people will fucking kill me, but I
That's
don't.
all right.
I don't think he would have reached the same status this quickly if it wasn't him joining the hostel. Just like Sam helped hostel drastically, right? Because
Mhm.
they exposed hostel to a whole new demographic. Hostel exposed Sam to bodybuilders. He exposed them to millions and millions of people who never even knew who Sam was and now like him.
Right.
So it turned him from 500,000 followers to multi-million followers to everything like that.
Ah,
So I
okay.
think I think that, and I see that, like I see that firsthand, but nobody mentions that. Everybody's just like, "Well, Hostel's lucky." Yes, they were lucky to have Sam. They found somebody that loves bodybuilding, right? Fucking loved it, right?
Right.
He's hardcore. He's like, "Hey man, you want to sign? Let's go, let's do this." Next, it just exploded. And as the explosion went, Hostel kept doing what they had to take care of him and do more for him. But like all these other accusations, it wasn't even true, man. Like literally,
Wow.
like
Okay.
I remember after the Detroit Pro dinner, we're all sitting there, Jim Man and everything. Then it was ended. What came up to Sam's like, "Hey man, thank you so much for coming as a meet and greet for my Detroit Pro, man. Thank you so much for having dinner with us. Is there anything you need, man? Is there anything I can get for you? Please tell me."
Oh, that's
Like
fantastic. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't realize that. Even when the contract ended, there was nothing horrible. It just Sam's like, "I just want to do my thing." Sam has turned down contracts from fucking clothing that if I told you numbers, you would fucking shit your pants,
Yeah.
right? So
He
he
seems like
does
the kind of guy that just wants to do his own
whatever
thing.
he yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think all the drama is because people can't fathom in the head that Sam is his own person and nobody forces Sam or can even manipulate Sam to do anything. He
Okay.
does whatever he wants, and he's actually a good person. He's a super good person. He's very wholesome. His family is extremely like I assume they're Christian, but they act like extremely very old school Southern Christian.
Ah,
His
okay.
his mom, his dad, his brother, like completely wholesome, positive people. They don't want drama. They don't want none of that.
Okay.
They just like being in like just chill. Like same thing with Sam. So I think a lot of people just give a lot of slack, man. And I think what it is too, like, look, people have disagreements with Fuad. They go their separate ways. Fuad just cuts these people off. It's like, okay, man, we got a disagreement. We don't really deal with each other. Okay, I won't deal with you either. We're done. But
Hmm.
I think a lot of people aren't don't like that, and they want to keep bringing it up. When he's just
Okay.
like,
Okay.
you see what I'm saying?
So
When he's just like,
yeah.
"I'm done. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm not talking about you. I'm not doing anything. Just call it
Yeah.
a day."
So
So
no truth about Fuad saying Sam can't do any podcasts. No truth about Fuad basically getting him on the cheap. Okay.
With the price, I don't know any of the pricing aspects.
Okay.
I don't know any of that. Okay. Whatever he was signed for, I don't know. I know though for a fact that he kept getting raises. So they kept taking care of Sam consistently. They took care of Sam. They did the right. They listen. Hostel takes care of their people, man. They really
Okay.
do.
Well, that's good to
Hostel,
know.
Hostel. Like here's this podcast thing. If everything was true about the podcast, how can their athlete Nick, right? Not Nick Walker, the old athlete, but the Nick, forget his name, he just turned pro. How come he has his own podcast? How come Samson Dauda was on my podcast
Yeah,
and
Samson's been
went
on
to the
my
auto?
podcast several. It's yeah, multiple
Right.
times too. Right.
So there's nothing in there
Yeah.
that you're like that way. It's just plain and simple. Like you're with a brand, you just promote one brand, just like every other contract.
Yeah.
All this other nonsense is flat out nonsense.
Ah, okay.
It's just people making up things. Listen, if Fuad, you remember, Sam was only because Fuad said this himself on a podcast. When I forget who he was doing it with. He's like, and it was true. He's only had Sam on his podcast twice. If he controlled Sam, why didn't he have him on every week?
Right. 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 Right.
I mean,
Right.
it would have blew his podcast up even
Yeah.
more.
I'm
He only
glad
had
you're
him
actually
twice.
I'm glad you're actually saying this because I was and still am a huge uh fan of Fuad going back to when he started the podcast with Luke, God rest his soul.
Mhm.
And then from I started getting a bad taste in my mouth from everything that's being said. And then I tried to meet him at the New York Pro, I believe it was 2 years ago, and he walked away from the people that were trying to meet him. So I kind of was started getting a bad taste in my mouth. But I'm glad, but for a long time, people would say things and on podcasts, on social media, behind the scenes. And for a long time, I was like in denial because I'm like, nah, it can't be because I'm such a huge fan of him. And then I'm like, well, maybe where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So I started getting a bad taste in my mouth. But then I'm like, and then I'm like, I speak to you and I go, and you go, no, it's all crap. The guy has done nothing but treat Sam well, treat me well, treat his athletes well. And I'm actually glad that you said that because that's what I want to believe, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm not a fan of negativity. I am a
Right.
person of do good for others and do good for others and be a good person. Okay. I like to be around people who are positive. I like to be around people who just kind of keep to themselves, don't create drama.
Right.
I've been around Fuad so much. He never brings anything up. If there's anybody that said anything negative about him, he never brings them up.
Good.
He doesn't bring any of them up. He
Good.
jokes around, he laughs. He's always supported me. His wife Summer has always supported me. His whole team. Like again, I see Fuad as a great close friend, and I'm not going to be friends with people or associate people who are negative, right? Or will talk negative to me about somebody. You
Right.
see what
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes. Yes.
Never, ever, never out of his mouth has he ever said anything. Listen, and I'm friends with everybody. I'm friends with all the people that talk bad about him. You
Right.
see what I'm
Right. Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So he could easily be like, "Well, Pat, you're friends with them, and I don't like them."
Right.
Like,
Right. Right.
no, he doesn't care because he doesn't care. It's cut off.
Right.
No,
Right.
nobody
Right. Right.
brings it up. The only people bringing it up are online over what? Like
Right.
it's spilled milk, and it's between, and it's whatever the spilled milk is. It happened between those individuals within their thing. It's done.
Mm,
You know what I
okay.
mean? So no, man. I think it's just I think it's a lot of nonsense, and it is what it is, man.
Okay.
But no, man. I would definitely have to say 100% everything is false, man. And
All
you
right.
know, and when it comes to Sam, man, they took care of Sam so good. And
Okay.
Sam was such a good guy. Like Sam didn't have to do anything. Didn't even ask him to do anything. That's the crazy
Yeah.
thing.
I'm glad you cleared
Like,
that
I
up.
mean,
I'm
that's
actually, yeah.
yeah. And here's the other thing too, right? Like for people listening, like you could check Sam's stories and posts. He never posted anything. It was
Yeah.
just
He
random.
never,
He was wearing this and that. Now let's be real when it comes to contracts with all supplement brands, right? There's always clauses in there. You gotta post, you gotta do stories, you gotta do stuff.
right.
So if all of this nonsense that people said was true, why wasn't it being done?
Okay.
You
All
know what I'm
right.
saying?
All
It's
right.
like there's
Yes.
you see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, if somebody makes an accusation, well, okay, let's look at the data and see if it's true versus, oh, the accusation must be true because this person hates FUAD and
Mm,
that's got to make sense versus here's the accusation, but where's the proof? Where's the
right,
actual
right,
fucking
right.
proof?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you know what I mean? And it's
I
not that
see.
hard to see the proof because it was like every in front of everybody's eyes.
Right.
So that's my whole thing, man. On
All
when it
right.
comes to
Good.
that.
I'm glad that you actually cleared that up and we were able to discuss it. Now I want to get back to you, Ari's nutrition, and your expertise because everybody knows that the natural supplements aren't FDA approved. Um, and I see you doing a lot of online reviews on a lot of great products. How do you differentiate what is quality and what is trash? Like for example, pre-workouts, that's huge. Everybody wants a pre-workout. Every company makes one, every kid wants to take them. I use them, everybody wants them. How do you differentiate between what it works or well, not what works, what's quality and what is insufficient as far as quality goes?
Ingredients dosages versus price points. Um,
But
I've always I've always been an ingredients person because I use supplements and I need ingredients to be high dosed and particular ones, right, to help me move forward, right, to help me give me a net. Okay. So it's pretty kind of it's just what it is. Like so when I look at products, I look at brands, that's the first thing I look at. I look at ingredients. It's like,
mhm,
it's I have brands a lot of times that go, let me send you a sample so you can try it out. And I'm like, try what out? I see the label. Like, what
mm,
are you going to try? The flavor? Piece of
yeah,
shit.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
I see the ingredients. I know how to read it. What am I going to try out? Like, you know what I mean? That's me. That's how I operate. And a lot of brands, use that because that's how they are used to selling. They're like, hey, let me give you samples so you can try it out. But it's
Right,
like,
right, right.
I look at ingredients, clinical dosages, if there's multiple pathways to hit for a pump, if there's multiple time releases for energy, if there's, multiple pathways for neuron activation, that's what I look for. And then once
Mm,
I see it, then I see, okay, where's the price point? And then after that, I go, okay, what's the brand? Well, what's the demographic for the brand? Is the brand positive? Is the brand strong in marketing aspect and so forth? So it's like, because it's like I could find a product and it could have a crazy stacked ingredients label. But
mm,
it's like, okay, what else am I getting from that brand other than this ingredient panel? I need more. Like I'm on a point where I need some marketing. Like, do they have athletes? Do they have something that shines?
mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it's like I'm doing all the work to help you grow. When realistically down the line, you might just end up being a GNC.
Okay,
You
okay,
see what I
okay.
mean? So I look up at I'm really an ingredients person, but I also care about what else I can get for the brand as a marketing aspect. Because I don't my first goal isn't profit, right? My first goal is how do I elevate the brand, right? I don't elevate the brand by fucking profit. Like, okay, there's huge profit here, but why would that person come back if I made decisions to get products that are higher dope. I'm sorry, that have high margin. Higher margins means less ingredients,
Mm,
which means usually shittier product, which means now I have to lie to you to tell you this product is great just
right,
so I
right,
can
right.
get that extra, X amount of percent off you. Meanwhile, down the line, you run across somebody like me who tells you, wait a second, and you're like, wait a second, I'm a motherfucker lied to me over there. What the hell am I gonna go back there for?
Yeah,
You see what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's like that, man. I just, I look for I'm an ingredients person, man. I've always been an
Okay.
ingredients person.
When you
That's
look
all I
at a
give a fuck about.
pre-workout, when you look at a
And I
pre-workout,
just kind
what
of go from
kind
there,
of
man.
when you look at a pre-workout, what kind of ingredients do you look for? You there? You there?
Yeah, John, sorry, it's probably my fucking horrible Wi-Fi. Go ahead, buddy.
That's okay, no problem, man. When you look at a pre-workout, what ingredients do you look at that need to be in there?
Well, it depends on what category it falls into, right? If we're, first it's like, okay, is an all-in-one pre? Is it just a high stem? Is it so forth? So Stims are simple, right? What's the caffeine makeup? Is it multiple caffeine time releases, right? Three different form of caffeines, two, four, stuff like that. Is there things like your himbine or theocrene, kind of just elevate that aspect? Focus. It doesn't really get that complicated. I mean, tyrosine, alpha GPC, choline release, pump. I mean, I love my pumps, right? So, nitrous oxide release, citrulline, water muscle cell saturation, betaine anhydrous, glycerol, betaine, in general, on the hydrous or by itself. And then also nitrates, right? So you have NO3s, you have a nitrate itself. So I look for those pathways, right? If it's there. Because let's just say a pre has 400 versus a pre that has 400 from three different caffeine releases. That's going to feel very different.
Mhm.
Like 400 to your face feels hard. 400 spread across three different time releases is
Mhm.
more released and has a different feel to it. So
Ah,
I start looking at that way. And then after that, I look at, yeah, yeah. And then after that, I look at dosages, right? If a dosage is like, because here's the thing, if I carry already products on the shelves, right, just anywhere on my online, they're already on the highest point premium, right? They're already so dosed, so high, and they have a certain price they're sold for. If I bring a product in that's similar price and the ingredients panel doesn't come to it, and I literally talk about ingredients panels, I have
mhm.
to lie to you to
Right.
get you to buy this. So a lot of brands just fall off because it's
Yeah.
like, dude, like, what do you mean you want me to sell you? Like, I work by ingredients panels. Like, it's
Right.
not
Right.
there.
Right.
No offense. It's just not there. So it's kind of that way.
What seems to be the best-selling pre-workouts for Ari's Nutrition?
It depends on what direction I move the consumer towards. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Whatever I
no,
tell you
it's
to take,
so,
that's what.
yeah. Look, I'm huge. So I do very well with Variant, the Nick Walker Signature Series from HD. I do
Okay.
amazing numbers with that because of its formula. I do very good with Hostility and Bloodshot whenever that's in stock from Hostel.
Right.
Just in general, I do very well Hostel. Um, but like when it comes to brands, like I'll just kind of go from brands. Like the top brands for me are like a Pro from Jeff Long.
Mhm.
They have an
Oh, wow.
all-in-one
Jeff
complete
Long.
health,
Okay.
which is an unlimited perfect support for PED users for organ support. That's literally one of my top selling products. I
Mm.
beat pre-workouts with that product because I'm so big on its benefits and how much because I use it myself.
Hmm.
And then just in general, he stacks his ingredients very high. So I do very well there. HC Muscle, I do extremely well with them. Like their variant does very well. Nick Walker, Hostile across the board. But Pre's, man, like I would say the top ones because it varies, man. Because you have like high stims come and go. Okay. So it's like whatever the high stim is at that time, that's the hottest one, whatever the
Yeah.
collab, things like that. Pumps generally tend to stay the same. Variant, Bloodshot, and FSU. It's a liquid glycerol with nitrate. Like I do incredible numbers with that. And
Mm.
the things that do very well for me are things I fucking use.
Ah,
Like,
okay.
because if I use it, I talk about it so much and people know I don't lie, right? So they're more likely to try it. And I already know when
Mm.
you try it, there's no way you're not gonna get this. Like, there's no
Right. Right.
fucking way, bro. If I'm using it and I love it, dude, you're gonna love it even more.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it's a lot of those kind of things. But when it comes to like, look, I don't Savage, Godzilla, like the main big hitters in the game, those are my number one sellers, man.
Okay. Okay.
My
All
number
right.
one sellers are like the harder things that are rarer to find on that aspect.
Okay. Let's move to whey protein. Is there really
Mhm.
much of a difference between a whey isolate versus a whey concentrate, or are you splitting hairs at that point?
And digestion, speed of digestion, and bloating. That's the biggest
Okay.
difference, right? Your whey isolates, they usually have digestive enzymes put in. They're out of your system. They're basically out of your stomach in like 2 hours, 2.5 hours max, right? You're not bloated. They're just going nice and smooth. Concentrated can get. I mean, you're going different ranges here, but they could take 4, 5 hours to digest.
Really?
They could cause bloating for people. So at the end of this, Yeah. So at the end of the day, look, man, you take either or, you're still gonna fucking rebuild muscle. That's not a problem.
Right.
But the problem can become with digestion. So for a bodybuilder, that's a problem because we eat nonstop. So we need that thing in and out. Meanwhile, for
Mm.
somebody else that just needs some protein intake, they could save a couple bucks and go with the whey. But after a certain point, they might feel a little discomfort. If you're
I
fucking
see.
18, 20, who gives a shit? Take the cheapest shit
Yeah,
you can get,
exactly.
and you'll
Right,
be
right,
fine.
right. Yeah, no, I agree. And what's funny is that uh I went the well, what's funny is before I used to compete, I would always use the concentrate. Then when I was competing, I would only use the isolate. And now that I don't compete anymore, I just use the concentrate. What's the point, you know? Now here's a good question because I get a
Mhm.
lot of young kids at the gym. I go to the gym. I work from 7 to 3 basically. Sometimes I work overtime till 7, but a lot of times I go to the gym right after work. And of course, at 3 o'clock, you get all the high school kids, no matter what gym you go to. And I don't have a problem whatsoever. They kind of pick my brain, and I'm sure that they do to you too, right? They want to talk about what to take, what to lift, how to lift, blah blah blah. High school kids come into your store. Is there something you won't sell them? Is there things that you say, no, you are way too young to start using this? Or is everything fine?
So honestly, I don't know because I don't even deal with the register anymore, bro. I like I'm not even behind. Yeah, yeah, I'm not even behind the register anymore because I end up doing so much social media work that I'm busy with that, and I'm always going back and forth from locations. So I don't even catch. I couldn't even like. There's almost no selling done from my end.
Okay.
That would only like say if I'm on the floor and something is going. But here's what I'll tell you: say there's on the floor, something's going on, then yes. But at the same time, my team, look, if you're 18, under 18, don't even bother trying to get songs. Like just slow down.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
ain't happening,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Right. Right. Right.
But when it comes to supplements, outside of that, those kids can take anything.
Yeah.
Right now, when it comes to high stim pre's, we're usually like, look, man, you don't need anything over 300. I want to recommend it. You're gonna
Right.
feel like shit. So we kind of steer them that way. Protein is protein, right?
That's right.
Creatine is take fucking creatine, bro. Just drink water and take creatine. So outside of that, everything's fine. It's just we pull back the stims, right? 100%
Mhm.
because like, you're young. Like you don't even need it, honestly. If you can
Yeah.
just try to minimize it and go towards your pumps because you're probably gonna drink an energy drink anyway because you love Ghost, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Right.
that's how like the offset is because even though they say no, they're going to buy a can and sip it through the workout.
Yeah.
So
I know.
realistically, pull them that way. But yeah, but besides that, man, everything's fine. Realistically, because you have health subs, proteins, creatines, yeah, and the stuff behind the counter. It's like, bro, you're not 18, man. Like what do don't ask me. Like
Yeah.
it's not
Right.
gonna
Right. Right.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
I
how we
got it.
pull it back. Yeah,
Now
and they do.
let's.
Trust me, they do ask.
Oh,
They
I
do
could
ask.
only imagine. Yeah, I could absolutely. Yeah. Well, listen, we were young once too, and we wanted to try. And I remember being in high school and going into it wasn't GNC, it was, a guy who had a supplement store, and I wanted to try everything, and I only had so much money and blah blah blah. We all go through it. But now let's flip it.
Mhm.
Let's say somebody comes to you and is 45 years old, right? Um, what supplements would you say, okay, you need to take this because you are 45 years old?
So anybody over 30, if you're over 30 and you're a male, um I'm telling you flat out that you have to go see a TRT clinic. Like that's
Right.
just no if it's a buts. Um Hold on, John. You hear me, right? I just want to make sure I'm not cutting off for you.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. So let me go back. So look, if you're a male over 30, the first thing I go explain to them how the hormone testosterone works and how where their test is will be dependent on how everything else works after that.
Mm,
Okay. And then I tell them, explain them if you're under 400, you probably have to go see a TRT clinic. If you're under 800, above four, you could probably start with a test booster, natural one, just to kind of feel better. But that's like the initial. And then I go into general health, right? Multi and minerals.
mhm.
And then after that, we just kind of have conversations. So those are the initial. Now, if it's a female, the first, like I never. Here's how I explain it. I never tell anybody this is what you need, right? I tell them the only thing I tell them they need is they need a general multivitamin, and they need some minerals.
Mm.
Okay. I'm like, those things I recommend. I don't care if you're 50, 60, 40, 30. I recommend that. And then usually they have digestive or bloating issues. So I will throw something in there, but that's it. Everything else, I'm like, what are you taking? And here's what you could possibly add: pre-workout or some aminos or protein. If you really want to, this is how it assists, but it's your call. But this is the health side that I recommend. So that's how I do it, man. Because
Okay.
outside of
Okay.
that, realistically, let's be real. It's health. That's everybody should be taking something extra for additional health support. Um, all the other stuff I call them toys, right? Pre-workouts are toys, right? Protein's a toy because you can't get your meat in. So that's how it's explained. And I get my whole staff to do the same thing. I tell them, you're not selling, man, you're just teaching. I just want you to teach. I don't want you to sell shit. I just want you to teach and let the person decide if it makes sense for them.
I see. I see. Okay. Bodybuilding, somebody wants to put muscle on, and they come to you and they say, all right, what supplements specifically to put muscle on that I need to take on a daily basis? What do you recommend?
Bro, I'm the worst salesperson. And like if I was teaching, because the first time I'm gonna be like, hire a coach. That's literally
Right.
the first thing I say. I'm like, hire a coach, and I would erase all the equations because everything I have on a shelf isn't going to put a muscle. It's going
Mm,
to assist in your performance, which in then turn can coincide with rebuilding and building muscle.
mm,
Because what I have on a shelf is your recovery and your increased performance so you could tear up more muscle in a gym, right? That's what I have on the shelf. None of this stuff is going to make you grow muscle, right?
mm,
None of that makes you grow muscle. Our direct plan can click the puzzle pieces together, but to save the time, hire a coach, right? And then I go into that spin. That's the way I give these people information. Again, I told you, I don't sell nothing.
That's
The
why you're
stuff
so
just goes
success.
off the
Yeah.
shelf on its own.
That's why you're so successful. That's what it is. Because you're so honest and truthful, and so people could see through the bullshit. And that's, what's funny is I do the same thing on my channel. Um, I don't bullshit. People could see the difference. They could see right through it. I try to be as real and as honest and as transparent as possible when people when I interview somebody, or when people ask me questions, or when I just have, like, I have muscle talk with Jason Owens and Phil Clayhar and Dorian Haywood, and we're just shooting the shit about bodybuilding. I try to be, and I think that's what it is. I think that's what makes you so successful. And I'm hoping in turn will make my channel so successful, because I truly believe people could just see through the bullshit, because I know I can. If I walk into a place and I'm interested in something and this guy is a salesman, I just walk right out. When I hear this salesman crap, the bullshit, like I hate looking for a new car with a passion. I fucking hate it, man, because you just, oh, they're the worst. It's like, just, I know what I want. Stop trying to sell me all kinds of shit and things that I don't want. Oh, it's fucking horrible. So and then I never go back, and then I tell people don't go there, right? Where I think, when you're your case where you're so successful, you leave and people go, yo, he really knows what he's talking about, and he really believes in bodybuilding and the supplementation, and he tries to fit everything for you individually. That speaks volumes about a person's character and about how a person runs his business. Speaks volumes. What do you say to that?
Yeah. And no, and I agree 100%. Listen, that's the message I give to all my employees. It's like, I don't want you selling nothing, man. I want you to tell them what you use, what you do, where you train, how you train. I want you to have conversation with them. So those conversations lead into them telling you more about what their goals are. Then what happens is, in those conversations, then product combos start, right? You're like, oh shit, I was using this helped me out, blah, blah, blah. And then what happens is that individual, then they're like, they make the decision in their mind that, you know what, maybe this will help me in my journey, right? Because he didn't tell me I need to take it. He just explained a scenario. of whatever he's doing, or he just explained different things. Like if they come in and ask for something, well, here's X, Y, and Z information. Here's how they work. Here's the different budgets. And just if something makes sense for you, man, just grab it. And
Hmm.
that's it.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, all my employees are instructed to how to create an experience for every single individual that comes in the store. They're not customers. If a person comes into the store, they're looking for an experience. They're not coming in for subs. They may be coming, excuse me, they may be coming in for subs, but they're honestly coming for an experience. Because if they really wanted just subs, they would just go online. But if they want subs and they want an experience of what it is face-to-face shopping. So you give them an experience, right? You give them a place where they can talk, they feel comfortable. They came to a place that is in their world, right? They came to a place where somebody's keeping it real with them, not spitting in bullshit. That's normally spit. And then they feel a lot better. They tell their friends, hey, listen, I didn't get gypped. They were keeping honest with me. And they just, and those seeds, you're planting seeds, seeds of experience. And those seeds will grow into fucking trees. Those trees will pollinate, grow more trees, so forth and so forth. So that's the way I go about it, man.
Okay, very cool, man. Where can people find your products? What website?
Okay, so it's Aries Nutrition NJ.com. That's the
Aries
website. If you're
Nutrition
on TikTok, nutrition NJ.com.
NJ.com. Okay. We can go on
And
there.
then if they're on TikTok shop, and I'm sorry, if you're on TikTok shop, I mean it's pretty self-explanatory. The Aries Nutrition page, there's showcase on there, so you directly buy from there as well. So those are two online options for purchasing.
Okay, so it's ariesnutritionnj.com and the TikTok shop, the Area Nutrition page. What do you have coming up? Do you have anybody coming up, any events coming up in the store or anything like that?
July 28th, man. July 28th is my sixth annual Aries party. The headliner is I haven't officially revealed him yet, but it's Noel from Rise. Noel Diesel is
Okay.
flying down. So again, we talk about relationships. Noel's a good friend, and
Okay.
I met Noel 3 years ago at the Olympia. It was in Dragon's gym, right? Dragon's Lair,
Oh yeah,
Flex Louis
sure.
gym,
Yeah.
and he was with some kids, and I'm like, I'm not gonna bug him. So I went to the South Store mix and pre. He came around, and I just introduced myself. We talked for like 45 minutes,
It's
right?
great.
We kicked it off. He went to train. I was like, you know what? Let me ask him something. I came up, I was like, hey, do you mind if I just do like a little skit with you with my phone? He's like, yeah, bro, let's do it. And I was like, and let me plug in your product. He's like, dude, that'd be awesome. I'm like, dude, you're the celebrity. No, it's
Hey,
awesome for me.
yeah, yeah.
So we filmed a little skit. His videographer put it together. And then ever since that, every Arnold Olympia, we run into each other, dude. We hug it out. We talk for like hours. I remember one time he was doing a meet and greet. I hung out with those guys with them for a couple hours. So, and I always said, I was like, listen, man, if you ever want to come to Jersey, dude, I would love to host you. Like, it would be an honor. So, we seen each other again at the Arnold. I'm like, look, man, you ever want to come to Jersey? Let me know. He's like, I will actually want to. Let's figure out a date. So that's what happened. We talked about a date. We got with Rise. Rise was like, look, I don't think it's going to work. Rise is a humongous company.
Yeah.
They're on the top of the chain. But Noel was like, no, man, I want to do this for him. Let's do it. So, big thanks to Noel, big thanks to Rise for even acknowledging me and allowing this to happen. And huge thanks to Noel, because if it wasn't for his friendship, man, I wouldn't be able to sit here and go, Noel's coming down to my location for meet and greet.
So
Because
July
that
28th,
guy,
where is it?
Mount Laurel.
Mount Laurel. Okay. And what time?
So he'll be there, guy, 11 a.m. 11 a.m.
Till what time? 11 a.m.
I
till.
think it'll be like 3, 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock, like that
Okay,
way.
cool. I'd
Because
like to
there is going
see.
to be a hard cutoff. Yeah,
Get I'm listening.
there is going to be. I'm sorry, there's going to be a hard cutoff, but he'll be there. Guy sister Nina will be there. Johnny Jackson,
Oh,
Luke Elsman, Danny Swole, Goob, Johnny Dorse, Goob. He'll be
really?
flying
Okay.
down, so he'll be there as well. I'm gonna have like a little deadlift comp, little bum energy, not beer pong, but pong going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
there'll be a lot of cool things. Yeah, that I'm
I
doing
gotta
this
check
year
it out.
around. But
How do you have to buy
yeah,
tickets? How does it work?
free event, man.
Just show up?
Free event. Just
Oh,
show up, man.
all right, cool. I'd like to see if I can
There'll be
come down July 28th.
there'll be food. Yeah, there'll be food. DJ. It's a Sunday. And again, I listen. I had Sam Sulik down in February, and that was unreal. It was like over 800 kids there. So, and Noel is like on that kind of level, right?
Wow.
Like he is on that level when it comes to that. So, I'm expecting a pretty big turnout just from the kids for Noel, and that's not even counting just the general people that are going to come. So.
That's fantastic, man. Listen, I'll definitely want to make it down. Uh, Pat, all the love and respect in the world to you. Really, I appreciate you coming back on the show. It means the world to me. Uh, Continued success to you, my friend, because you seem to be having a blessed life with business and your family and your child and your wife. So all the love in the world, bro. I really appreciate you coming on again.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having
Any
me, brother. Thank you so much.
Anytime, brother. I will let you know when this is up, and I'll send it to you and tag you in it, and when you could check it out.
You got it, man.
All right. Have a good night, Pat.
You too, my friend.
John Olivier here from Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding and Serious and Silliness Outcast. And I have a great new website to show you. If you are interested in peptides such as semaglutide, which everybody knows is Ozempic, then you need to go to this website, www.eqno.com. That's eqno.com, because these are peptides at a discount price. And you'll get an additional 10% discount if you use my discount code, John, John. Why don't we just take a look at the site so you could see for yourself? Let's see. Here it is. This is the site, EQNO Scientific, where you can get semaglutide, you can get tirzepatide, and you can get retatrutide. They are now on sale for $129 per 10 milligram vial. But if you use my discount code, John, John, you can get each bottle for $116. And to be honest, I don't know where you're going to find it cheaper than that. I've looked around. I don't see any of these peptides that inexpensive. This is a great new site, and he was going to have even more peptides coming in the future. As of right now, these are the 3 available at a discounted price. Remember, www.eqno.com, and remember to use my discount code JOHN for an additional 10% off. All right, guys, thank you and enjoy the video.